The Nevada Real Estate Division acts as a gatekeeper. Its primary function is to regulate entry into the profession, ensuring that only qualified applicants are permitted to represent the public in real estate transactions. When an application is flagged, the division uses three distinct terms to describe the status of a license. While they may sound similar, each carries a different legal weight and requires a different response. These are categorized as denial, inactive, and invalidation. Denial blocks a license, inactive pauses an existing license, and invalidation cancels a license issued in error. Denial is the most consequential. It stops a career before it starts, often due to failing state qualifications. Navigating this process requires a detailed understanding of the specific triggers that lead to a rejection and the exact timeline required to appeal the division's decision. A license denial is a direct administrative response to specific failures in the application or the applicant's background. Simple administrative omissions often act as the first filter. The division will deny a license if the application is incomplete or if the required licensing fees are not included. More serious flags involve the applicant's professional history. This includes making false statements on an application or having a previous real estate license suspended or revoked in Nevada or any other jurisdiction. The division also denies applications based on criminal history. Specific crimes like forgery, embezzlement, and unlicensed real estate activity are grounds for rejection, as are any crimes involving moral turpitude. The state defines moral turpitude as conduct involving dishonesty, fraud, or serious misconduct. These offenses are viewed as evidence that an applicant is not currently fit to hold a position of public trust. When a denial is triggered by a criminal conviction, the state mandates a specific waiting period. This timeline does not begin until the applicant has finished all court-ordered requirements, including fines, restitution, parole, or probation. From that point of completion, the division is prohibited from issuing a license for at least 3 full years. This means a crime-related denial results in a mandatory, multi-year delay before an applicant can attempt to enter the profession again. If an application is denied, the state follows a sequential timeline for the appeal. Each step is governed by a specific deadline that must be met to keep the appeal active. The process begins when the division notifies the applicant of the denial, which must happen within 15 days of the decision. The applicant then has a 30-day window from the receipt of that notice to file an official appeal with the Real Estate Commission. Once the appeal is filed, a commission is required to set a hearing date within 90 days. After the hearing is held, the commission has 60 days to produce a formal, written decision regarding the license. Finally, the applicant must receive notice of the commission's final verdict within 15 days of the written decision. This specific 15, 30, 90, 60, 15 numerical sequence is entirely fixed. If an applicant fails to file their appeal within the initial 30-day window, they lose their right to challenge the denial. While a denial prevents a license from being issued, other actions apply to licenses that have already been granted. An invalidation occurs when the division determines a license was issued in error. This is a correction of a state mistake rather than a disciplinary measure. To remain eligible for a hearing after an invalidation, the licensee must physically return the license to the division within 20 days of being notified. In contrast, an inactive status means the license still exists, but the holder cannot perform any activities that require a license. This status can be requested by the agent or imposed as a disciplinary measure. Returning to active status is an administrative process. It requires the agent to bring their continuing education credits current and, in some cases, pass a reinstatement exam. Unlike the legal appeal required for a denial, managing an invalidation or an inactive status is primarily a matter of meeting specific administrative requirements. Nevada's licensing system is built on these rigid administrative rules to maintain oversight of the real estate market. Successfully navigating a challenge to a license requires memorizing the specific triggers for denial and adhering to the 15, 30, 90, 60, 15 appeal schedule. Understanding these procedures allows an applicant to identify the exact steps needed to address a license denial or invalidation.